to Architects Winning Post podcast. This is episode 1, where I'll be previewing day 1 of the Aintree Festival 2025. We're taking a look at all 7 races, and we start with the 145 and Manifesto Novices Chase. This is a pretty wide open renewal, to say the least. We start with Django Bay, who has some good course form in the book, and he did well to pick up the pieces in the Arkle last time out. He was flat out all the way around, stayed on really strong up the hill to overhaul Madgeborough, Lodersud and Only by Night. But I do worry about the quick turnaround. There's only 3 weeks and he looked like he had a hard race that day. And straight after the race, Nicky Henderson wasn't too sure about bringing him to Aintree. I mean, he's got some really good form. He's done little wrong in his career, but I do think he's worth taking on the back of that quick turnaround. And the one I quite like here is Gidley Park for Harry Fry. I don't think this horse has yet to show his true potential. Obviously, he's only had the couple of starts over fences. But after that problem he had at Kempton, he bounced back quickly to score at Windsor, where he defeated Caldwell Potter in convincing fashion. Obviously the runner-up's gone on to score at the Cheltenham Festival to boost the form, and he's got plenty more to come over fences at Gidley Park, and that was over a trip short of his best as well. He'd definitely appreciate the return to this sort of distance, and I actually think Aintree will suit him very well, as will conditions. He's got plenty more to come, and obviously connections think very highly of him. So I think he could really set it up to this field, and he represents pretty good value at around the 5-1 mark. Obviously Croke Park finished the place in front of Empire at Pass, went second to Ballyburn last time out. He's won 3 of his 4 starts over fences, but I'm still not convinced of his jumping, to be honest. He seems a bit scruffy time to time, seems a bit clumsy, and I think this course will really test him, and he may be found out in this company. But with Empire at Pass, I do think he'll take a big step forward from that run last time. If you go back to 12 months ago, he finished 3rd in the Irish Champion Hurdle before coming on to win the Aintree Hurdle. So I could see him going well, especially with the first time cheek pieces actually sharpening up a little bit. Just looking down the rest of the list now. Yeah, just back to Gidley Park for a second as well. When he beat Caldwell Potter last time out, Personal Ambition was 23 lengths adrift of Gidley Park, and that horse beat Django Bay over hurdles. So that's a bit of a form line just to mention there. The Kaluki Kid, he did the job nicely last time out, but he falls short on form and ratings. He may be able to nick a place, but I can't see him winning. Same applies for Mark of Gold. So yeah, I'll be pretty strong on Gidley Park in the opening contest. And Empire at Pass should run well as well. Moving on to the second race on the card, which is the 420, the 4-year-old juvenile hurdle. Now with Lalamba switched to Saturday's card, this has definitely become more wide open. We start with Mambo number 5, who was pulled upon his stable debut for Ben Poyle at Cheltenham in January, but then won convincingly at Kempton in the Grade 2 last time out. The runner-up has done well since, but I'm not sure what the overall form is worth. He may be able to sneak into the frame, but I can't see him winning, to be completely honest. That's just my personal opinion. And then Gibbs Island, he was on a bit of a roll before he turned in a stinky performance in the Triumph Hurdle last time, so he can't be fancied on that performance. Harry Durham has 2 in the race, with Paul O'Brien choosing filibustering over Aviemore. That's a little bit interesting. I thought he did really well in his hurdles day with Kelso. He jumped emphatically and he powered all the way through to the line, but when you compare the time to the Mort Battle Hurdle, it's pretty slow and the form looks ordinary. So I wouldn't be punching in too much onto him. Naturally Nimble, he shaped quite nicely in a Grade 2 last time out in 4th. The 1st and 2nd have gone on to run quite well in the Triumph Hurdle, so that form's been given a bit of a boost. Live Conti, he's up in class. He did the job well at Weatherby, won on the bridle, but I can't see him winning this on the bridle. And the form of his debut success at Ortiz worked out relatively poor. The runner-up Larzac was stuffed in the Triumph Hurdle, and obviously this is a different kettle of fish compared to that Weatherby race. So I'll be quite keen on put your hands together. I thought he was very impressive in the Fred Winter last time out. He travelled and jumped smoothly. As soon as he got over the final early, quickened up that hill like a horse who's going on to bigger and better things. The fact that Joseph O'Brien is happy enough to do the quick turnaround and send him straight for this race gives me enough confidence that I think he'll run a big race. So yeah, I think Put Your Hands Together will take plenty of beating in the second race on the card. And then we move on to the 255, the Golden Miller Bowl Chase, better known as the Aintree Bowl. And again, I don't think this is the strongest grade one in the world, and I'll be happy to take a chance on the course specialist at Hoy Senior. Now I know he arrives into the race on the back of a heavy fall in the Gold Cup, but if you go back to 2023, he fell in the Gold Cup and then he bounced straight back to finish second to Shishkin in this very race, which is a really good piece of form. And then obviously 12 months ago, he pushed Jerry Colomb all the way to line, only beaten half a length and second again in the race. Now I think those two pieces of form stand out in this race. And obviously he saved his best for this time of year. He always goes well at this course, and if he can offer that revival from his fall again last time, I think he's got a seriously good chance of making it third time lucky in this race. So Hoy Senior would be one that I quite like. The Jello, he never went to yard in the Ryanair Chase last time out, and he's hard to fancy on that basis. The Real Wacker, he's a little bit overpriced after finishing 5th in the Gold Cup last time, but I'm not sure that this track would completely play to his strength, so we're happy to give him a swerve. Stage Star ran a huge race from the front last time, went second in the Cotswold Chase to the home press, conceding the win of £4, which I thought was a pretty good effort considering that was his first proper test beyond 3 miles. Paul Nicholls is the most successful trainer in this race as well, but I do kind of worry at the fact that he's run at this meeting before and he's run really poorly, so that's always lingering in my mind, so I think I'll give him a swerve as well, but I will be a little bit worried in case he does produce his best. Embassy Gardens, I just can't see this horse being good enough at all, to be honest. Obviously Paul Townend has chosen him, so obviously he must see something in him. But he was well beaten behind Gaelic Warrior in that 3 mile grade 1 that Gaelic Warrior won once upon a time over hurdles. And I do think if Gaelic Warrior can reproduce his best form, he'd have a serious shout in this race. I mean, Patrick Mullins has got a tune out of him plenty of occasions. He won a grade 1 on him at Limerick, and then he finished second in a grade 1. I think it was on his penultimate start, where he had Champion Chase winner Marine National and Mayor's Chase winner Dino Blue in behind. So I think that actually reached really good form. And obviously, if he can come back to his best and leave his latest run behind, I think he'll be in with a shout. So in the Aintree Bowl, I like a Hoy Senior and Gaelic Warrior. May nominate both of them as tips or just the one, depending how it is in the morning. And then we move on to 3:30, the Aintree Hurdle, and it's round 2 Constitution Hill against Lossiemouth. The former champion winner obviously suffered that surprising fall last time out in that eventful champion hurdle that Golden Lace won. I think people are quite quick to criticise him just on that one fall, but if you just look at his overall form, he has been bulletproof apart from that fall, and obviously won this race 2 years ago. But I do worry that Lossiemouth may be able to get a lot closer to him than she did in the Christmas hurdle, for the fact is she's unbeaten when she's gone beyond 2 miles, and plus she's a better horse than Sharjah, who was only 3 lengths behind Constitutional in this race 2 years ago. But to be honest with you, based on the prices, I don't think I'd want to get involved in this and risk wasting points on one or the other when literally it's a 50-50 flip of the coin between those two. But to be honest, I wouldn't rule out Woodhill. She's unbeaten in 7 starts over hurdles and very impressive in the Martin Pipe last time. Wow, I mean, I was blown away with the way she's quicking up the hill in that contest, and the fact that Gordon Elliott is willing to throw her into the deep end against the big two here does speak a bit of volume, to be honest. So maybe if I was pushed into having a play in this race, and maybe a small play on Waddo, but it'd only be a tentative one. But yeah, at the moment I'm leaving the race alone, but maybe push to Waddo in the morning depending on how I feel then. Then moving on to the Fox Hunters Chase at 4:04. This looks a really competitive race yet again, as expected at Aintree, but Lifetime Ambitions really interesting. This horse got experience of the national fences, finished 4th in the Grand Sefton back in 2022 when rated 151. And I thought he was loving life in the 2023 Grand National before he was technically carried out at the 9th fence. He was placed in a grade 1 once upon a time. He's been in very good form in the point-to-point field of late as well. 3 wins, 3 seconds, and this has been a target for him for 18 months. I mean, he's a brilliant jumper. and conditions look to have come just right for him. So I think Lifetime Ambition's got a serious chance in the Fox Hunters Chase. Will it go ahead? Actually beat Lifetime Ambition in one of the points. He ran well when third in the Hunters Chase at Cheltenham last time on stable debut for Gordon Elliott. I wasn't convinced by his finishing effort. It looked a little bit laboured on the running, and I just wonder, after jumping the final fence and this long run in, maybe something will get him, and it could be Lifetime Ambition. But I'm also excited to see how My Drogo performs here, actually. He was a former class horse when trained by Dan Skelton. He even won a grade 1 on this card as well. He got the job done at Haydock in February. And given his size, he's probably open to a bit more for it and improving, even though he's a 10-year-old. I think he could be well suited to a race of this nature. So he'd be one to keep in mind. Benny's King finished runner-up in this race for the last 2 years. He also has a chance of making the frame again, but he does have work to do to reverse 23 form with famous Claremont, who beat him convincingly. But one at a huge price who I've put under my microscope is On the Ropes. Now, this horse had some really strong form when trained by William Mullins in the handicapping scenario. He's placed in the Scottish National. He's also placed in the Ladbrokes Trophy. And I thought he did a real good job of staying on strongly to finish 8th in the Hunters Chase at Cheltenham last time out, considering he was so far back coming down the hill, and he absolutely powered through that line to stay on to be 8th. Now, it's possible this trip might be on the short side, but if he can gets into a nice rhythm, he's there or thereabouts, turning into the straight, I think he could be finishing off well. He could run into the frame at least at a big price. So On the Ropes we want to consider there. So in the Fox Hunters, the shortlist I have is Lifetime Ambition, My Drogo, and On the Ropes. Then next up we have the 440, which is the Red Rum Handicap Chase. Now, I know top weights don't have a great record in this race, but I do really like Thomas Oscar. I know he's on a mark of 152, but he has won off this mark at Ayr last April, and he actually gave weight and a beating to the winner of this race last year, Sainsbury. And recently he caught the eye with a 4th place finish at Doncaster, and I think he has a really good chance for at least making frame here. He's a really good horse on his day. He's got his conditions, and yeah, I can see him running well at a big price. Hunter's Yarn, I was very disappointed with his jumping last time out. If he could put it all together, I think he'd have a chance of making the frame, but can't be confident with him. Henry de Bromhead, he's got a good record in this race. Yes, and he runs the Folkes Tiara. He might be worth a second up, but I do think he looks handicapped to the hilt. And another one that I like at a big price is Donald McCain's Gallangun. Now, he actually finished in front of Primoz at Ayr on similar terms early in the season. Now, Primoz is well fancied for this race, and I can't understand why Gallangun is such a big price compared to Primoz. He should be 3 from 5 in this sphere. I mean, he would have bolted up on similar ground at Market Race and early in the season without that shuddering mistake at the second last, when virtually clear and set to win. He's gone close since at Ayr, finishing 2nd, and then he went one better at Carlisle last time, winning comfortably. He's only gone up £5 for that. He's off a low weight, and Brian Hughes has actually been riding really well of late, so I could see Gallangun going well at a big price, and likewise with Thomas Oscar. And then moving on to the final race on the card, the 5:15, the Mayor's Bumper. Ben Pauling and Keelan Woods won this race last year with Diva Luna, and they could have a decent chance with Blue Betty, who did the job very well on debut at Newcastle. But my big strong fancy in this race is Charisma Cat. Now, I think this is a serious mare, to be honest with you. She's won 3 of the 4 starts, was an unlucky 2nd in the other at Market Racing, but she bounced back with a convincing win at Sandown last time out in listed company. And each time I've watched her, she's been so strong at the finish, and once she hits top gear, there's not many that's finishing better than her. And I think this course will really suit her well, especially if Tom Cannon can get stuck into her. I think she'll be absolutely motoring down that straight, and it could be curtains for the remainder. Just hope she can reproduce her best, and I think Alan King's got a serious mare on his hands here. So Charisma Cat will be at the top of my list for this. Jackie Hobbs, she's won both of her starts in good style. She may be one to look out for moving forward. C.O. Lynn was a good winner at Cheltenham's November meeting, has been kept fresh for this as well. She could run well as well. But of the others, I do like one at a massive price, La Conquer for James Snowden. She finished a close-up 2nd on her debut at Thurles, where she had Derryville in behind, who went on to place behind Bambino Fever, who obviously won the Grade 2 contest at Leopardstown before winning the champion bumper. And I think that form reads really well in the context of this contest. Jamie Snowden's had 2 runners in this race previously that have exceeded market expectations, and I think this mare could do the same. So I could see her running well. So in the final race on the card, I do like Charisma Cat and Lacon Care. But yeah, that wraps up day 1 of the Aintree preview. I appreciate anybody that's tuned in, and make sure to give the video a like, and if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel. There'll be plenty more content coming soon. We'll have special guests coming onto the channel, interviews, exclusive insights. It's going to be a great blast moving forward, and yeah, that'll be all for now. But we'll be back around the same time tomorrow for day 2 of the Aintree Festival with another preview. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck with your punting for day 1. All the best, and speak soon.